Good morning. My name is Grant Hammer, and I'm the Executive Director of the Association of Illinois Soil and Water Conservation Districts. It is my special pleasure to extend a warm welcome to each of you to this special briefing event on the collaborative effort to update and revise our state water plan. I'm honored to welcome coming Illinois Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton, and agency directors Natalie Phelps-Finney, Jerry Costello, and Director John Kim, as well as numerous esteemed lawmakers who have joined us today to gain insights into this crucial effort to preserve our natural resources for future generations. We also extend a warm welcome to our conservation stakeholders who have taken the time to be with us here today. As we gather this morning, we recognize the critical importance of water management in ensuring the sustainability and vitality not only of the ecology of Illinois, but also its industries and the public health of its peoples. Our state water plan is a crucial roadmap to achieving this goal, and this event offers a unique opportunity to gain valuable insights and information on the latest updates and revisions to this critical plan. We are proud to have such a distinguished group of individuals present here today to share their thoughts, expertise, and experiences, and we look forward to a productive discussion that will help us chart a course towards a brighter future and ensure the long-term health and prosperity of our communities and environment. Once again, welcome to this special briefing event, and we hope you have a fulfilling and insightful experience. At this time, I will pass things to Lauren Wobig, Director of the Office of Water Resources at IDNR and Chair of the State Water Plan Task Force.
I'm Lauren Wobig. I serve as the Director of the Office of Water Resources in the Illinois DNR, but I also have the privilege to serve as the Chair of the State Water Plan Task Force, which is really a collection of all the state agencies in Illinois that deal with water in some fashion. And it was a task force created back in 1980 by Governor Thompson, and it is still functioning today, as you'll see. So as most of you know in the room know, Illinois is very, very blessed to be a water-rich state, but of course with that blessing comes many challenges dealing with water and of course responsibilities to have to deal with that. So on behalf of the State Water Plan Task Force, I'm excited to offer you your 2022 State Water Plan, okay? And it includes 13 critical issues dealing with water in the state of Illinois and 147 recommendations for water improvements, but most importantly with social and environmental justice perspectives in mind. It's an opportunity to improve water-related state programs and policies. It's an opportunity to educate. It's an opportunity to protect water quality and water supply for all the people of Illinois and the wildlife as well. It's an opportunity to address social and environmental issues related to water in the state of Illinois. It's an opportunity to engage with our concerned citizens and the related organizations such as the Illinois Association for Soil and Water Conservation Districts, who's our sponsor for today's event. And so, the plan brings those kinds of folks into the mix as well. It's an opportunity to implement water-related actions and, for this audience, importantly, legislation. There's quite a bit of a call for new legislation that would be required dealing with water in the state of Illinois. It's an opportunity to ensure that water resources are still available for all, regardless of race, income, housing status, or geography. So in the next few moments, we'd like to help you understand what the plan is, who's behind the plan, how to access the plan, and most importantly, how to use the plan.
The first Illinois water plan was published in 1967. Former Governor Thompson appointed this task force as it stands today back in 1980, where he brought together leaders from various water-related agencies in the state. A new plan was published in 1984, but the goal of that plan was to provide policy and program guidance for water resource management amongst all those agencies. From there, various reports were published until 1991 for specialized topics. And then in 1994, the last formal update of the State Water Plan was published. That doesn't seem that long ago to me, but in 2019, the task force decided it was time to update the 25-year-old document. Agency support, along with support from the General Assembly, is key to the success of this plan. After an introduction to the report and to the key social and environmental justice issues that Lauren discussed. We break the report into separate chapters for each of the 13 identified critical topics. The final section summarizes all the recommendations, and it also provides guidance to how to support and implement the plan. Next. So while there are hundreds of water-related issues, the task force divided them into 13 main topics. So throughout the development of this plan, we also brought in stakeholder groups and the public to make sure that we were identifying all the issues that impact the people in our state. We held 3 separate public outreach meetings between 2020 and 2022 to solicit input and feedback. So at the end of the day, we have 147 recommendations for which we found some interesting common themes. For example, individual committees ended up coming up with 10 identical recommendations. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Similarly, we found that 25% of the solutions for one topic also positively impacted one or more of the other critical topics. This demonstrates that when funding and support is provided for each recommendation, that you'll get many other positive impacts.
As you can see, most of the recommendations fell within these 5 main categories of whether it be legislation needed, policy, programs that need to be modified or created, projects that need to be completed, or studies that need to be undertaken. Well, obviously, funding is a big part of making sure that we can move forward on some of these initiatives. And within the plan, we are going to, as I said, measure those results, make sure that we provide quarterly updates to the public, and also the plan is to have report updates every 10 years. So just an example, we did have 23 recommendations that involved legislation, as mentioned, codifying the State Water Plan Task Force to make sure that we keep that collaboration going on throughout all the state agencies to deal with the water issues is a critical recommendation that we see within our report. Another one is a great story. We had a constituent who came to one of our public outreach meetings who was really interested in water use, reuse in Illinois. They joined one of the committees and now have moved to have legislation proposed for water reuse in Illinois, and that is now under House Bill 3046.
Right now, we are very honored and privileged to have the Lieutenant Governor, Juliana Stratton, in the room with us this morning, and so we certainly appreciate her leadership and particularly her interest in water in Illinois as she chairs the Illinois Rivers Coordinating Council and certainly has water at the heart of what she's trying to accomplish. So with that, Lieutenant Governor, welcome and appreciate you being here and offer you to say a few comments. Good morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Lauren. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Lauren, for that warm introduction and for your steadfast leadership as chair of the State Water Plan Task Force. And I want to thank all of the task force members stewarding this work, including the agency leaders joining us who are playing a critical role in pushing our state forward. Director Natalie Finney of the Illinois Department of Natural Resources, Director John Kim of the Illinois Environmental Protection Agency, Director Kevin O'Brien of the Illinois State Water Survey, and in his absence, Director Jerry Costello of the Department of Agriculture. I don't think I saw him today. Thank you all for your continued service to uplift Illinois and its natural resources. Each of us have a part to play in addressing the water issues impacting our state, and you exemplify the expertise and commitment to collaboration that are key to the journey ahead. This is what a unified front looks like. As one Illinois, we are focusing on leaving an even greater, healthier, and safer state for future generations. As chair of the Rivers of Illinois Coordinating Council, I know just how important it is to work together to find the solutions so that our water systems are clean, safe, and protected. And through our committees, we are digging in from addressing economic development and infrastructure to conservation efforts and uplifting the environment. I also recognize that the people of Illinois deserve to be empowered with information to understand why our water resources are important and how they can take steps to do this work with us. Making public outreach and education a core focus of the state water plan is just one way that we can learn and move forward together. We know that clean waters help keep us healthy, but they are also part of the landscape that makes Illinois one of the most beautiful and unique states in this country. In fact, just this week, I was in Chester along the Mississippi River, and I watched a barge kind of slowly make its way down the river, but it wasn't just the importance to commerce that came to mind. I also thought about how the mighty Mississippi is such a source of peace and resources and recreation for so many, and it deserves to be protected. This natural abundance must not be taken for granted, cannot be lost. We owe it to ourselves, and it is our duty to those who come after us to preserve and refine our water resources through sharing ideas and shaping policies. I know that there is much work to do, and I look forward to standing with you to take the next steps forward. I want to thank you all.
We're a water-rich state, but there's still issues. Think about, for example, the issues up in the Juliet area about the cone of depression. Let's think about, at the same time, some of the work that's gone on about nutrient runoff. So there's really some important concerns that we have to keep in mind. Now, you're a municipality. You realize climate change is happening. You want to be you want to have some climate resilience. How do you go about doing that? Well, right now there is a lot of data out there. We always talk about big data. Great news, it's out there. How do you find it? How do you interpret it? How do you pull it together? That's a real challenge, because it's great to have the information, but if I can't pull it together and be able to develop policies and implement those for my constituents, if I'm a municipality, whatever, I'm going to have issues, because what I really want to do is bring solutions. And I can't do that if I'm spending all my time bringing all that information together. So we're really excited from a water survey perspective about this whole effort, and especially excited about a couple things. One, this whole idea that I'm going to say this is kind of a living document. It sounds like, and this is fantastic, we're not going to wait another 40 years to update this, that this will be ongoing. We're going to adapt to the changes, because from a science perspective, we're getting information constantly, and being able to work as a team with the other agencies to pull this information together and put it into a format that makes sense so policymakers can make decisions, that's fantastic from our perspective. And part of it is also not only updating things, but we're excited by one of the things that I believe Wes brought up, which is, I'm going to say, it's been birthed out of the state water planning effort. And it's the Illinois Integrated Water Information Center, IIWIC. A long acronym, but let me tell you, it's a very important one. Because what that's going to be able to do is take the data that we generate, the data that other agencies generate, and bring that together into a one-stop shop, be able to put it into a format so that we can then provide that to policymakers, and they can make those critical decisions that are going to affect our economy, critical decisions that are going to address these important social justice issues. So from our perspective, we welcome, again, thank you for having us involved in this whole planning effort. We welcome the opportunity to continue to do this. And we also welcome the opportunity, as we go through and we develop that new science, being able to work with the agencies under this integrated water center to be able to make sure that it's not just science data that's put on the shelf, but it's science that can be adapted to make an impact here in Illinois.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak with you all today. I want to express my appreciation for all the hard work that everybody put into putting out this most recent iteration of the state water plan. It cannot happen without the shared collaborative efforts of all the different people that are involved. And certainly thank you, Grant, for hosting and starting this off. 147 recommendations in the state plan is a lot. And there is nothing a state agency likes more than recommendations. So, but they're important, and frankly, they are right now reflected, I'm sure, and I know on our agency's part, and I'm guessing in the other agencies as well, it's a lot of what we're already doing. And water issues have certainly, for our agency, been at the forefront for us for a long time, excuse me, certainly over the past several years. And for our part, I think it's good that we have a plan that memorializes so many of the things that we're focused on, integrating and implementing environmental justice principles throughout all of our programs, including our water programs, providing financial assistance and technical assistance to communities to try and address infrastructure issues. We have, we're not dealing with cholera anymore, which is great, but we have emerging contaminants like PFAS. That's ubiquitous, that's everywhere, that's going to touch so many aspects of everyone's lives. And so that's a new issue that we are already devoting a lot of time and attention to, and that's a developing matter that we're going to have to continue to address. So I very much appreciate it's very good timing, this most recent iteration of the plan. I think it, again, embodies a lot of the things that we're all focused on right now, and it serves as a good foundation to make sure that all of our agencies and all of our stakeholders work together to address all those issues. So.
This is a big deal. Something, we take our water, we take our natural resources for granted, and we want to make sure that we don't do that. And so I want to say to Lauren, he's always humble. That he came in as director of Office of Water Resources at DNR and went to the task force and realized that the mission of the task force was no longer really what it was supposed to be. And so he took up this mantle and got the stakeholders together, and that's how this work started. So thank you, Lauren. You're welcome. Thank you for your leadership and dedication. It's tremendous, and this is a big deal. So we're so indebted to you. I do want to thank Jen Edgington. I don't know where Jen got to, our acting director. There she is. Thank you so much, Jen, for hosting us today. It's really appreciated. And I will give a plug for the State Museum. If you haven't had time to tour the museum, especially my favorite right now, the Growing Up Gen X exhibit, please do that. It is phenomenal. Thank you, Jen, for your team and all that you do. It's truly amazing. Lieutenant Governor Stratton, thank you for being here. Really means so much for your leadership and all that you do, for your councils and the work that you do every day. Thank you. And as a former colleague and a friend, it's always a pleasure to be with you. Thank you. I do want to say to former Director Rosenthal, thank you for being here today. And to our legislators, thank you for your support. Getting us the funding that we need is so critical, and we do not take that for granted. So thank you for your support and all that you do.
Thank you to the Illinois Association of Soil and Water Conservation Districts for your sponsorship of this event. Certainly appreciate all that you've done to help put this together. And in fact, it's launched a couple of other similar type of briefing events across the state as well. So thank you for your leadership there as well.